Salute. Welcome to Wild Country Daily Updates. I have another daily update for you guys. This is from the Independent, and this is very disturbing. These people here that you see, yeah, this guy, he's a hillbilly piece of shit. He's a special ed kind of person, yeah, somebody that you could just toss around and beat up, yeah. I don't want to say too much and get struck, but yeah. And this girl here on the right, she's a bitch. She looks like a witch. She looks like maybe incest, maybe mental disabilities. Same with the guy. They're fucking senior citizen type people, but yet they act ignorant, and they're a piece of shit. And they should be burned alive. They should be. They better be held accountable. They better get life in prison. They better get the death penalty. They better get abused like they abused their kids. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Bitch. Let's go in and see what the story says. White couple accused of treating adopted kids as slaves found guilty of forced labor, human trafficking. What? Nah. Not these type of people. No way. What? Yeah. A West Virginia jury has convicted a couple who were accused of neglect and forced labor involving their adopted children. Oh, they're adopted. That's bad. That's worse yet. You're trying to show the world that you're good parents, and that's how you're able to adopt, because they look into your background and shit. They're supposed to anyhow. So the agency that left these kids go to these parents or this couple should have not been approved. So the agency needs to be held accountable too. CPS needs to be held accountable too. Because you'll see why I'm saying that. Now, including locking some of them in a shed and forcing them to sleep on the floor and use buckets as toilets. Janine Whitefeather, which is a weird name, probably incest name, was convicted of all 19 counts against her, including forced labor, civil rights violations, and human, you-know-what, and child neglect. Her husband, Donald Ray Lance, was found guilty on 12 counts out of 16. He was acquitted of 4 counts of civil rights violations. The jury deliberated for 8 hours before reaching a verdict on Wednesday in the couple's trial that began mid-January. Whitefeather and Lance, who are white, of course, were accused of mistreating their children, all of whom are black. And then it doesn't matter if they were black, white, brown, green, purple, yellow. It doesn't matter what color. No kid should be getting neglected like this. That's the whole point. So take the black, take the white, take whatever else out of the equation. The bottom line is you should not be neglecting kids like this. You should not be forcing them to do hard labor. Yes, you want to teach them how to work. You want to teach them how to be, reliable. You want to teach them how to do things, how to do chores, but you don't want to overdo it. There's teaching them, and then there's overdoing it. And most likely they were overdoing it. They adopted the 5 siblings while living in Minnesota, moved to a farm in Washington State in 2018, and then brought the family to West Virginia in May 2023 when the children ranged in age from 5 to 16. There's the shed, supposedly, allegedly. The couple was arrested in October 2023 after neighbors saw Lance lock the oldest girl and her teenage brother in a shed. First of all, how do they know for sure that they locked them in a shed? I don't get these stories sometimes. Did they zoom in with their camera? Did they zoom in with binoculars? How do they know that they locked the girl in the shed? How do they know that for sure? I mean, I'm not saying that they're lying. I'm not saying it's fabricated, but how did they know for sure? And her teenage brother in a shed and leave the property. A deputy used a crowbar to get them out. Okay, that's how they know. The deputy used a crowbar. But how do the neighbors know, though? If the neighbors didn't walk over there, how would they know? Inside the main home, a 9-year-old was found alone crying in the loft with no protection from fallen, according to a criminal complaint. A fourth child was with Lance when he eventually returned. Deputies were later led to the couple's youngest daughter. The children were found in dirty clothes and smelling of body odor, deputies said, and the eldest boy was found barefoot with what appeared to be sores on his feet. All 5 were turned over to Child Protective Services after the couple's arrest. During the trial, neighbors testified they never saw the children play and witnessed Lance make them stand in line or perform difficult chores around the yard, including lifting heavy items. Okay, lifting heavy items, like, come on. The world has become so relaxed. When we were growing up, our parents would have us do hard chores. Our parents would have us do farm work, like if we lived on a farm. We would be baling hay, putting hay away, milking cows. That's hard labor for young kids. I don't know. I get... It turns my stomach, man. It does. She also said the children were fed a steady diet of peanut butter sandwiches at scheduled times, some left over from a previous meal. Some kids were forced to stand in their rooms for hours and keep their hands on their heads. The oldest girl and boy shared a room, including the same bucket for using the bathroom, while the other held up a sheet for privacy. She also said the children slept on the floor and barely bathed. The couple and their attorneys pushed back on the allegations, with Lance testifying that the chores were assigned to teach their children responsibility. Whitefeather's attorney said the oldest boy had attempted to run away from home, and the lock on the shed was meant to keep him from trying again. Whitefeather called the shed a teenager hangout and said the older children had access to a key and were free to leave as they pleased, but testimony showed the children didn't know where a key was. Detectives found one out of sight on top of a cabinet in the shed. Prosecutors said the couple's tactics were less about teaching responsibilities and instead about control. And that, yeah, I would have to agree. It wasn't about teaching responsibility, it was about teaching them control. And yeah, these kids weren't there to be raised as children, but served another purpose entirely. Kanawha County Assistant Prosecutor Chris Kravaniak said in his closing arguments, the whole point of treating them this way is they became less than human. They became more like machines. That way they're more useful. How do you do that to someone you love? Prosecutors also entered racist text messages into evidence that they said were from White Feather, who denied writing them. The oldest daughters testified the children were cursed at all the time, and that White Feather used racist language. White Feather also didn't want to eat off the same plates used by the children, which is bullshit, man. That's what are you afraid of? I mean, come on. Whom she referred to as dirty, the girl testified. You want to know what racist looks like? Assistant Prosecutor Madison Tux asked the jury, then pointed to the defendants. Look at them. The defense argued the couple was simply overwhelmed by trying to get help for the children's ongoing mental health issues, abuse, and trauma from their biological home. Well, you made that worse. You two definitely made that worse. If they were already in a home where there was mental health issues and abuse and trauma from their biological home, and then they were sent there, they just overdid it then, too. But I'm done reading this. It gets me too upset, too mad, to where I just want to punch the screen. These are the type of people that I cannot stand. Pray for them kids to get the help that they need. Pray for them to get the better foster parents or better people to help care for them. I don't think they should be placed in the foster care system, though. They should be placed with a loved one. You can't tell me there's no loved ones out there that love these kids. But anyways, if you want to look at the rest of this article, I will leave the link into the description down below. Make sure you look in the description for that. Also, press the like, share the video out. Things like this need to be exposed. Things like this. Yeah. Until next time, peace out.